Right lads, happy Homebrew Wednesday and happy St George's Day. I'm not having a beer at the moment, I've got to go to work, so I just thought I'd do a little bit and then I'll do the rest when I come in from work. So I'll have a bit more chat with you then. Right then, for those of you out there who haven't met Betty, me brew pot, this is what she looks like. She is an 11-gallon keg. That box on the front where the electrics are for the heater, just because they were just open to the air and I thought they're bound to get some water on them and go bang. And there's my brass tap, works perfectly. Nice long length of wire, so I can, because I need to use it outside. But there's a new addition. I haven't used this addition yet. This is an old fermenting bucket that I've been given, and all I've done is drilled holes in the bottom of it, made a net bag which will actually go inside. So the problem I had was if I did big beers or bigger beers, the last one I did was a dark ale cum light stout. It had just over 7 kilos of grain in it. And once you get the water in it, added like mixed with that grain, you're talking about lifting, I don't know, 12-14 kilos. And I was just terrified because if the bottom of the bag splits, how on earth I would ever manage to get all that grain out or separated from that wort? It would be bin filler. So I had to come up with something, and this is basically the idea I came up with. Just put that down so you can see the bottom of it, and I just literally drilled a load of holes in the bottom of it. I don't know if that's going to be enough holes. I might need to drill some more holes in, I don't know. But the other added advantage I've got, because this old fermenting bucket, it'll fit inside my other fermenting bucket, the one with a little tap on. What I can do is I can stand this one inside the other one and then sparge the grains off. So hopefully that's going to be a bit better. And yes, see you in a bit. Right, so there we go. That's the That's the new addition to the fermenting bucket. I did put it on YouTube, on Facebook, on one of the chat rooms, and there seem to be a few people interested in making them. But the best thing with these, if you put them inside a keg, all depends on how big you've cut a hole in the top of your keg, is where these lips are here, for where the handle attaches. The actual keg slides down and rests on there, so it means the bottom of your bucket won't touch your element, or it doesn't in mine. It works absolutely perfect. You would have thought I'd measured it. So right, I got that. The other thing I got was old Boots heater. Absolutely brilliant. Because I haven't got a water chiller, what I do is I leave everything in the keg, put the lid on, leave it outside overnight. So by the time I get up the next morning, it's cold. The problem I had was this time was it was quite a frosty night. We had a little bit of a chill on. So by the time I got up in the morning, the wort was only about 8 degrees. So then the problem was, do I heat it up or do I put it in the fermenter? Because I have to lift mine full of water to get it on top of a wall so I can drain it off. What happened was I just decided to put it into the fermenter, lift it cold back and lift it hot. So then I put it into the fermenter. So then it was like, how many days am I going to have to leave that in my house to get the temperature up? But because I had this, it didn't take long enough. Just plug that in, stick it on the inside of your fermenter, plug it in, and that's it. It's basically the same as a fish tank heater, but it's designed for going in beer. It's an old one. It was never used before I bought it. Well, before I had it given, because a friend of my mother's is getting rid of a load of gear, and that's where I got bucket from. I got that floating thermometer, a few other bits and pieces. She doesn't know if it was her husband or her son, but somebody bought a load of stuff and never ever used it. So that's to that really. So this week I've had a few little goes. I've got the all grain on for SG Pour Challenge 2. That one seems to be alright. It smells really nice. It's chocolate and coffee. So hopefully that'll be alright. The first one I did I might be having one of those tonight when I come in. I have tried one. It's not ready. It really should have another maybe 2 weeks to bottle condition, because it's just not really that carved and it's still extremely cloudy. But I'm not expecting it to clear. I'm not expecting this one to clear either, because I didn't use Irish moss or anything. I'm trying to keep the recipes as simple as possible. So if there's anything going wrong, it'll be my brewing that's going wrong, not the fact that I'm adding stuff that I don't know what I'm using. So I'm pretty much don't want to add any chemicals, I don't want to add any like Irish moss or anything like that. I'm just basic brewing, just so I can kind of get my head around that first. See, I still keep saying things like keeping tannins in and that, because I thought tannins was like the residual sugar flavour you get at the end without basically non-fermentable sugars. Not realising that it's actually that nasty funny taste that you get in beer. But as I say, I'm still just brand new to this. I've done kits for a long time, but this Allburn stuff's all a new ball game. I am, again, you know what I mean, thankful to lots of the lads out there who are giving us more knowledge, more information week by week. Anybody out there, if there's anything you're not sure of, don't be shy. Get yourself on, get yourself in the chat rooms, get yourself on Von, get yourself out there, get yourself on Facebook, all the different ones on there, the different, you know what I mean, all the little different groups and that. I've been in a few of them, you know. Get out there and ask. The best thing about this community is everybody's quite willing to give you advice and give you help. You know what I mean? Without the lads, I would have been, do you know what I mean, I wouldn't have got off kits. I would have still been in kit brewing, because it is quite a big jump. But again, the information's out there, the people are out there to help. All you've got to do is ask. The other thing I did was I did a 1 gallon batch. I've never done 1 gallon batches before. I didn't really have any interest. I've not much interest in making 8 pints at a time. I like a beer, and to be honest, making 8 pints it's a fart on for a waste of time in my eyes. But it does help for like if you're trying things out and that. So what I did is I did a little smash beer. That's in the cupboard under the stairs, sitting with its little jacket on. I might get that out tonight and we'll have a little look at that, see how she's doing. She looked a little bit strange when I got her out the brew pot. She did look a little bit like a brain forming in the bottom of the demijohn. But anyways, we'll have a little look at that, and I'll see you all later when I finish work. I'm a bit better with a beer in my hand. See you in a bit, lads. Cheers. Right, lads, just finished work. So now it is St George's Day. So happy St George's Day, lads. And we've also got my first Allgrain in a plastic pet bottle. We can get the top off this in there. Hang on, actually before I do that, I'll grab the book and I'll tell you what the recipe is. She's kind of an idea of what I'm drinking, because I don't think I'm very good at explaining the flavours and things like that just quite yet. Right, we've got 6 kilo of Marisota, 300 grams of crystal malt, medium crystal malt, 150 grams of wheat, and then we've got the East Kent Goldens I had wasn't that strong in alpha acid, so it was 60 grams of East Kent Goldens at 60. Then it was 15 fuggles at 30 minutes, 10 fuggles at 15 minutes, 10 fuggles at 10 minutes, then 10 fuggles, they're all grams, at flame out. So, let's get the top off. Nice little hiss. Nice little bit of smoke there. Oh, she seems quite carbonated. I'll see if I can pour this on camera. Again, this takes quite a bit of practice from other attempts I've had at it. There isn't any Irish moss in this or anything else to help clear it. So she is going to be a little bit cloudy. Just leave her there. So let's have a little. As you can see, she's not. Actually, looking at the bottom of that, right down the bottom, she might actually clear out eventually. Smells lovely. Really, really smells lovely. It's basically ESB. But as you can see, that head disappears, and she doesn't really have much hanging around. Just smells really, really malty. So, just finished it, so let's jump in. It's reasonably well carbonated, quite thin on the mouth. Not too thin, but when I did this one, really me temperatures and that were a bit like, well, I didn't really know what I was doing, so I just set temperatures, kind of looking at other recipes, and that's what temperatures they'd use. Didn't really understand why they had to be at certain temperatures and stuff like that. I knew it was to get sugars out of, but I didn't understand that there was different types of sugars you were taking out and things like that. But I've been looking into that, so I do know a little bit more now. But no, for a first attempt, yeah, she's very drinkable. She it's very much like a traditional English bitter. It's you can taste that Fuggles really, really quite nicely. But that East Kent Goldens is kind of everything I expected from it, and that Fuggles kind of hangs around like in the background a bit. But when you swill around a little bit, she does smell quite sweet. But as I said, she's not ready, so I do think to give her another. Well, I won't be giving her another week because that is what I've got to drink at the moment. Because I've drank the rest. We've been off on the for a 5-day weekend, Easter weekend. So that'll be what I'll be drinking for the time being. Right, I'll pop that down. This is the that little 1 gallon smash beer. This is just a smock hood, which is perfectly sized to go around a demijohn. Which keeps the demijohn a little bit warmer. Right, just stir across. See, extremely cloudy. She's got another. I don't know. See, because I've got a couple of hydrometers, so I just dump a hydrometer in. And just leave a hydrometer sitting in it. So then it saves us, I don't have to keep sanitising one to drop it in to check it, to sanitise another one to drop it in and check it. So and also you don't have to mess around with dropping it in and getting it stuck and then can't get it back out again. So at the moment, I think it's hard to look through a note at the moment, but she's about 10-10, something like that. So I'm not expecting it to go much further. I'll leave it for a couple of days, I'll see if she'll settle out a little bit, and then my problem is I haven't got another demijohn. I've only got the one. So I have got a gallon bottle of water. So I have a funny feeling said gallon bottle of water it'll be getting tipped out, and I'll transfer from there into the gallon bottle and then wash this out and then put it back in the demijohn. But no, that seems to be going all right. I'm not expecting anything great from it. It was basically just a test because I can't find any decent converters out there from gallon batches to 5 gallon and from 5 gallon down to gallon batches. I have had a look at B S Smith. It confuses us a little bit. I'm not overly sure on playing around. I've played around a little bit, but I'm not really that sure. And I've used Brewer's Friend, which seems to be a little bit easier for me. I seem to understand it a little bit more. But again, it's still confusing at times. And the other one I've got is the SJ Pro 2, which she's round the corner there, and I'm not lifting her out tonight. I can't be chilled on. It's 1 o'clock in the morning here. So, in any case, I hope all you lads are having a good Wednesday and a good St George's Day. So I think we'll leave it at that, and I'll see you all next time. So to St George, cheers.